Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so this is a return to form when it comes to collector's editions. I'm happy to report because I'm going through a bad run at the moment, but I was very impressed with this set. So I'm going to be taking you around my latest pickup that I got for hard target. Now I have to tell you is that as soon as I seen the announcement for this release, I knew I needed it for my collection, and thank God for once the pictures actually lived up to the actual release itself. It is an absolute stunner. So inside this edition you do get a steelbook, and it's a rather beautiful steelbook as well. You also get a booklet, you get postcards, you get a poster as well, and not just that, but you get a nice solid hard rigid box on this one. And as you can see, the artwork is quite unique on this one, so there's definitely a lot of effort gone behind this release, and it goes without saying, but I'm going to be taking you around it very soon. Now I have to tell you, it's a great time to be a Van Damme fan, because it's nice to see his movies getting this kind of treatment, because we had Hard Target here, or we have Hard Target, and a couple of weeks ago I only just showed off this wonderful release of Cyborg. And if you haven't seen that video, I will leave a link in the description below, and please do check it out. It's a beautiful release. So yes, nice to see Van Damme getting this kind of love when it comes to 4K and collector's editions, and I'm hoping it will continue past this movie. Now this movie is directed by John Woo, and I have to tell you, he's one of my favorite directors of all time, one of my favorite action directors of all time, if not my favorite. And if I was to do a top 10 of my favorite action movies of the 90s, chances are John Woo would have at least 4 movies in there. This would definitely be one of them. Then you've got the likes of Broken Arrow, you got Face Off. He even done Mission Impossible 2. Now I know people, there's not too many fans for Mission Impossible 2, but it's actually one of my favourite Mission Impossible movies, believe it or not, and it's largely down to John Woo's directing style. He's a real kind of stylistic look to his movies, which I absolutely love, and you can see that stylistic look in abundance when it comes to this movie. If you are into your kind of over-the-top action movies, I can't think of a better movie than Hard Target. And when I say over the top, folks, I am not kidding you. There are scenes in this movie where you'll see Van Damme shooting somebody at least 20 times in the chest, and he would still have to roundhouse kick him in the face just to put him down. And I would love to tell you that happens once in this movie, but it happens a few times. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to over the top. And if you're into that, trust me when I say, you are going to love this movie. But not just that, Van Damme's character is so unbelievably cool in this movie, and you always expect that with John Woo movies. The heroine of these movies, his movies, are always this kind of real cool looking characters. But not just that, but it's the villains of his movies as well come across as very cool, and Lance Henriksen is phenomenal in this movie. I'm such a fan of his, and he does not disappoint with this release, or this movie, sorry. And not just that, but his right hand man in this movie, I can't think of the actor's name, but he's Imhotep in the Mummy movies, and he's actually quite brilliant as well in this movie. So there's a lot to be seen with this release, folks. Like I said, there's some great over-the-top action sequences, particularly the last half an hour of this movie. And if you have not seen it, I can't recommend it enough. It is such a stunning movie. Now, the one downside to this release, and there's always has to be a downside, and unfortunately I have to be the bearer of bad news, but there's not a single special feature on this release. Now, they did actually include Hard Target Part 2. Now, I didn't actually even know that movie existed. I didn't even know I was getting it with this set. I only noticed it today. So at least that's in there. I don't know what the movie's going to be like. Chances are it'll probably be rubbish. But yes, there is no special features. But the good news is I have the Kino Labo release, so at least I have them special features. I was never going to get rid of it anyway. But yeah, that is the one downside to an absolute stellar looking release. As for the 4K transfer, folks, you know what? It's a little bit of a mixed bag. But for the most part, it's phenomenal. It really is. You know, you have to consider the movie itself. We are talking about Hard Target here, and to see that the amount of love that's gone, and love and attention that's gone behind this transfer, is quite amazing. But the movie is not as clean looking as I would like to see. I did see a lot of specks of dirt, film dirt appearing on the screen every now and again. So it wasn't as clean as I would normally like to see my 4K releases. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to a kind of a mixed bag. There is a bit of grain to this picture as well. Now, it's not heavy by no means. It's not obtrusive. It is light. It is beautifully consistent I have to say as well. So I was very, very impressed by the grain structure on this. The Dolby Vision colors are absolutely beautiful. I can't stress it enough. And again, it's probably the real highlight of this 4K transfer. There is one scene that stuck out in my mind, is the scene where he encounters the girl in this movie for the first time. He kind of fights these boys outside this kind of this cafe, and just wait till you see that scene. I think that's the, you know, that's the 4K at its best. And when you see it, it looks some of the best you will ever see on the format. It really does look that good. Now, the only problem as well, just talking about that grain structure as well, there is one or two scenes in it, of course, it being a John Woo movie, that, you know, there's one or two scenes where, you know, there'll be slow motion. And I did find that the grain looked a little bit noisy just during those slow motion scenes. But like I said, it's nothing that's going to affect you too much. It is a stunning presentation. The fine detail is phenomenal across the board. You will see it in everything. The black levels are beautifully inky, incredibly deep, and like I always say, it does add a certain element of depth to that picture. And the shadow detail as well was very, very impressive. It is a stunning 4K presentation, folks. Like I said, just one or two little nitpicks there when it comes to just the film dirt on the screen, but other than that, I think you'll have no complaints with it. Now, the DTS 5.1 audio that you do get on this is good, don't get me wrong, but there is a lot of action sequences in this movie, and sometimes they just lack a bit of punch, lack a bit of bass. You know, I would just like to hear a bit more there. And it's one of those releases that you kind of wonder, you know, what Dolby Atmos or a DTS-X soundtrack would have done to it. It's one of those movies that definitely lends to it, particularly the last half an hour of the movie. But the 5.1 is more than capable. You do get a great sense of separation with your speakers. The dialogue is unbelievably clean. It doesn't get drowned out even by the heavier action sequences, which there is quite a few on this in this movie. So yes, it's a good 5.1. Again, I just wish there was just a little bit more bass to it. Right, folks, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to take you around this release and I'm going to show you everything that's inside it. So yeah, let's get to it. Right, so let's get this going. So as per usual, I have removed the J card. I will bring it in quickly and give you a close look at it. But as you can see, it does show you everything that you get inside this release. And right there at the bottom is just a close look at some of your technical aspects. So right, that is the J card itself. So let's get on to the release. And as you can see, there was quite a bit going on here with this one. You have Van Damme there, his face. It's kind of inside an arrowhead. You've also got a scene from the movie at the bottom right-hand corner. Now, I can tell you this for an absolute fact that all the writing that you see on this release, it all has a bit of spot glossing going on. And not just that, but the target that you see in the bottom right corner here has a lovely, lovely bit of spot glossing going on. So there is a serious amount of work gone into the artwork on this main cover, and I'm a huge fan of it. So I'm going to just bend that light just so you can get a close look at the spot glossing. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's beautiful, it really is. Right, so I'll take us around to the back of it there. As you can see, you got hard target, and that has a nice bit of spot glossing going on as well. And then right around to the back, and it's just a picture of Van Damme. I think that might be... It might be a scene at the end of this movie. I can see him holding a grenade there. So yeah, I think it's one of the scenes right at the end of this movie. Now I can tell you there's absolutely no spot glossing going on whatsoever on the back of this box. And that's okay. That's okay. It's save it all for the main artwork. So right, that is a look at the back anyway. So this is the bottom of it here. And as you can see, this is limited to 2,000 copies. And I have a very low number of 91. And it's running on the top of it. You just got hard target there again. And there's a bit of spot glossing going on with that as well. So yes, a beautiful presentation on this set, it has to be said. And that is the contents inside. So I will open it up and we'll have a close look. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the postcards that you get with it. So let me just open these up. And I don't know if these are actual character cards, but I can tell you now that there is a lovely high gloss finish to them, which I'm a big fan of. So yes, these are actually quite nice. In terms of postcards, they're very, very well made. So yeah, as you can see, it's just a couple of stills from the actual movie itself. So there we go. I actually like the black and white ones that you do get on with that as well. And as you can see, the backings, That's the backing on them all. So that's the postcards, put that to a side. Then you've also got this poster, and it's double-sided where it shows a scene from the movie. Sorry about the light glare there, folks. But there you go, you can get an idea of it. And then when you turn it around to the opposite side, it is the artwork that we know and love for this movie. So, right, that's the small little poster you get with it. Then you also get this a booklet. I haven't had a chance to actually read this up yet. But I will take us quickly around it. But as you can see, you have different artwork, which is always nice to see with a release like this. And yes, it is. It's an actual write-up. I think it might be about the... it could be about the characters, the actors in this movie. And I'm sure it's a write-up of the actual movie itself. And maybe a bit of John Woo in there as well. So yeah, that is the booklet. And again, that has kind of has a high gloss look to it as well. So put that to a side. And lastly, that brings us on to the Steelbook. Now, I have to tell you, the Steelbook is beautiful. I am a huge fan of it. So there is quite a bit of embossing going on with the Van Damme writing, hard target as well. As you can see, it does have a high gloss finish on it as well. And I love that frame that you get around. I'm always praising when you see that on Steelbooks. I'm a big fan of it. So yeah, the artwork is stunning on this one, particularly on Steelbook form. And as you can see, it is the same as the main box, but again, it's kind of different as well, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's always nice to have that. So right, that is the Steelbook. So I will take us around to the spine of it, and then right around to the back. And as you can see, that is one of the dog tags from one of the victims at the start of this movie. I think it's the woman's father. As far as I remember, I think that's what it is. It does. Oh, yeah, Binder, Douglas Binder. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's the father of the girl that's in this movie. So yeah, that is the back artwork anyway. And I will actually open the Steelbook in full just to give you a close look at it. But there we go. The only problem with high gloss Steelbooks is, as you can see, it does show up your fingerprints fairly well, so you'll be cleaning it quite a bit. So that will take us then inside. So as you can see, you got your 4K disc there. I will put that to a side. Then you've also got Hard Target 2. That's the Blu-ray disc. And then that lastly brings us on to the inside artwork. So there you go, folks. That is everything inside this fantastic release of Hard Target, and I can't recommend it enough. It is an amazing set. Right, folks, so there you have it. That is my Hard Target release, and like I said at the start of this video, it's a return to form when it comes to these collector's editions, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of them like this in the near future. So there you have it, folks. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you could leave a comment down below. And if you have seen this movie, please share your thoughts on it. I'm so curious to hear what you're going to say out there. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.